Hello guys, I'm trying to share the live. Good evening everyone. I'm in my bathroom. So the live just started. So good evening, and this will be a Q&A live where I will try my best to answer a couple persons some questions that persons have. So good evening, and share the live if you wish. I'm just waiting on a couple more persons to join so it can be more interactive. And persons are always messaging via TikTok, Instagram, commenting on YouTube and stuff. So I want to give those persons a chance um to answer some of their questions and just update you guys on what's going on now as it relates to H2B, as well as the upcoming winter season. We'll talk a little bit about that. I only have 30 minutes. Thank you guys. I tried it. I put on my face and came out as a real hot girl, a joke. um Questions. Get ready with your questions. I have about 30 minutes. I can go through some questions and touch on the winter season. So while I'm touching on some information, informing you guys can ask your questions. I'll go through and I'll answer as best as I can. Okay? Thank you. So as it relates to the winter season, everyone hearing me? Are you guys hearing me? Hello? Okay. So as it relates, before I touch on winter season, yes, I have been, on and off because of I'm trying to balance work as well as, personal life and my, well, even though I haven't been really active in the group, in the Telegram group and stuff, but just trying to balance everything. So that's why I'm kind of on and off. I was supposed to go live the other day, but what happened was I was busy, so I didn't get to go live. But I am here because I got off early from work and I decided, hey, I have some free time. Why not just come and provide some update to you guys? So currently, um, for the winter season, recruiting, I wouldn't say it has officially started as yet, but what we're doing now is gather or prepare a list of or get familiar with employers who will be recruiting for the winter season. So normally you have summer employers, you do have winter employers as well. So you have some employers that they operate both seasons. So their businesses or their organizations are open for both summer and winter. So they recruit for both summer and winter season. Ensure that you like the live as well, guys. So would you share that list with us? Yeah, I mean, yes, definitely. Because, I'll let you guys know what employers are which employers are hiring, as soon as we kind of have an understanding, and we kind of have an idea, okay, this employer will be, or tell you guys where to go find them and all of that. Once things are kind of at a, what should I say? I don't know how to word that, but yeah, you have summer employers, you have winter. So you have some of them that only operate during summer, and you have some that strictly operate during winter, as well as you have some that operates both seasons. Those employers that operate both season, um, I'd say they are a little more easy. Well, I wouldn't say it's more easier, but persons might be aware because they would put out their post and stuff. But differently, you have some employers, like if you reach out to them in the summertime and they only do winter, they'll tell you, oh hey, reach out July, that's when we start a recruitment. And some of them will even go as far as to tell you to wait, or they'll tell you that they have your information on file and they'll reach out in July. They will not reach out. They will not reach out. They just say that because they haven't started recruiting. But they said to check back July, but you follow up with them. Or when they say they'll contact you, don't wait for them to contact you, because 9 times out of 10 they won't contact you. Right? We are hoping that there is a list though for this winter season, an employers list, the randomization list. So hopefully there will be. If not, we do find employers on Seasonal Connect, and on the Department of Labor website as well. That's what our main focus will be. The Department of Labor, the seasonaljobs.dol.gov, it's our main focus, because once the companies file their job, their wage determination and all of that stuff, that's the process of getting their petition and all of that. Once they do file that and all of that, they will be given, and they have to file a job order, and it will be posted. That's how all the jobs are posted on the Department of Labor website. So we use that site. That is the main site, as we all know. Don't rule out applying on these companies' websites. That is very important. And you never know, you can always use Google. Google is always available. For example, you see a company on Seasonal Connect, and if when we go on it, we normally see where they say, they tell the seasons they recruit for. So if you see an employer that's recruiting for winter, you just Google them if there's no contact information, and you reach out to them. I wouldn't say, it's a bad thing reaching out early or starting to apply early. I just say, because the employers, some of them won't know if they can actually hire you. That all boils down to when they get their temporary labor certificate, once that has been approved, and then they have to file a bunch of other things, as well as the job order, the wage stuff, as it relates to salary and all of that, and then they file the petition, right? So it is a process, and companies will start recruiting soon, will start recruitment soon, as well as there's not a lot of companies that do winter as it is for summer. So I'd say an employer will have a better chance of getting to hire out of country persons than for the summer, because the summer there tends to be a lot of businesses who file petition to get foreign workers. So for winter, it's not as great as summer. As you know, their persons, not everyone wants to work in the cold, as well as not all businesses open during winter. A lot of businesses, they close down, and that's not because it's not their peak season any at all. So I can take some questions in the meantime. You know, let me know what you guys want to know at the moment. Is there anything you're unclear of? Is there anything you would like to know to assist you with getting yourself prepared for the winter season? Yes, JJ, they'll normally tell you, hey, check back in June or July, because that's when they actually start their process. So that's the reason why they'll tell you to check back around those times. Okay. So yes, you can ask your questions, guys. Ask your questions so I can go ahead and answer them. So if there's anything that you'd like to know, happy Sabbath to you, Sandra Thomas. My son went on the H2B program in summer of 2016. Never been back from then. Do he consider as a new person? Yes, because if you haven't traveled within the last 3 fiscal years, which would be 2020, 2021, and 2022, for now, you won't count as a returnee. So you are actually counted against the cap. So returning workers don't count against the cap, but in this case, your son, he would count against the cap because it has been a while. It's not within those 3 years, 2020, 2021, and 2022, since he last traveled. They normally ask for Jamaican reference from your employer. Well, some do. I'm not gonna lie, it's good to have, a reference, a professional reference, especially if the job you are applying for, you do have experience in that field. And also, it would be good for them to reach out to them just to validate your experience and just validate the type of worker that you are. So yeah, some of them ask, not all employers ask you for reference. Some of them, they just browse through your resume. Some of them, they really hire you based on the interview and how things are going. Some of them, they actually need you with the experience, and they actually go through your resume and say, hey, this, that, and they validate every information. Not all of them do. Ensure to like the live, guys. They normally, oh, sorry. If your visa status shows approved, does it mean the visa is granted? Yes, it does, Ren. So once it's approved, it will go to an issued status. So the same way you check it and it's approved, it will go to issued, and then then you will get an email stating when you should go and collect your passport. So they'll email you stating that your documents are at the document center and it's available for pickup. So you'd use the tracking number and all of that, and you'd go with a form of identification, and collect back your passport. Or if you had the courier, if you paid for courier service, then they would be the ones who pick it up for you. If you were denied a visa in April, would it be wise to apply for the winter or wait until summer? Rashana, that was April of this year, 2022? And that winter would actually be, so for winter you would actually send in your book like September. Yes, you can still apply, definitely. I'd still apply. What's the age for applying for the program? So as long as you're 18 years of age, and I mean, it goes up until it depends on what your body can manage, but there is actually no limit as it relates to the maximum age. But we all know the minimum age requirement is 18. Some server jobs, they do require you to be over 21 to serve alcohol, but other than that, then you're good. What's the procedure as a first timer? Shantine, not. So Shantine, I have some videos that will walk you through the process. So basically what you do as a first timer who have never traveled before, it's basically the same process. You would have a resume, a proper resume, construct your resume. Um, First ensure your CXC, and you know those aren't really relevant to be on your resume because it's not recognized over there. So ensure you have a good resume to start with. What we do is we have the websites where we can find the employers, so you can go through an agency if that's what you wish. If not, you there are ways where we find the employers independently. We have websites where they post the job postings. They we also, with experience, we know majority of the employers who will be recruiting for summer, or it's a possibility they might be recruiting for summer, winter, sorry. And you'll just email them. You send a bunch of emails. You would call them. You would apply on their websites, and just follow the procedures or the steps and the information in the videos, and you're good to go. I really like your channel. I'm just waiting on the winter season for my breakthrough. Yes, Jessica. Yeah, a lot of persons were trying for summer. A lot of persons have gotten through. You know, it definitely can be done. You just have to kind of have the mindset to say, okay, you're just gonna do it and you're just gonna go all in. It will be. I'm not saying it will be easy for some, but I can be sending 3,000 emails and don't get like a offer, or like, no, my visa process hasn't have doesn't start, versus you may send 200 to 500 emails and then you get something positive. So it all depends, but you just got to be willing to go through the process, because it is a process. So if you are willing to go through the process, I mean, what can stop you? What are some of the questions to ask the employers during an interview? You can ask the employer, I normally ask them like, do you like working, do you like if they're an HR manager, do you like the company? How long have you been working there? What do you love most about working at that company? That's normally my go-to question. Or you can also ask them, well, it's also based on what you have researched about the company. Say it's a restaurant, and you're applying for a cook position. You can maybe ask, what are some of the I noticed on your website, you guys, on your menu, when I was browsing your menu, I see you guys have this and that dish. Is it a case where it's just one set of um food that you guys serve? Or I don't know, some questions along those lines, based on the position that you are applying for or and interviewing for, and based on the what you researched about the company as well, right? So in housekeeping, maybe you could ask, what's the number of rooms, or do we get to clean on a daily basis, and do we work as a pair, or we do works do or do we work single? It really depends on the type of job you are applying for and stuff. There's not one set of questions, there's a lot of questions that you can actually ask. But just ensure that you do have a question, because when they ask that, don't be so quick to ask about the salary and stuff. I'm not saying it is not important, but if it's your first interview, I'd stay away from that topic, because it will definitely come up. The salary will come up and they'll advise you of that. Can you provide us with some of these employers' name for winter? Uh off the top of my head, I'm not, I don't think I know it off the top of my head. But let's see. I'm not sure if Vail does out of country for winter, or Yellowstone. I'm not sure if Yellowstone is still doing out of country for winter, because a lot of these persons do in country, being that a lot of us H2B workers are in country and will be looking for extension. But I mean, off the top of my head, I can't tell you for sure which and which, but I will do a video letting you guys know some of these employers. And then if there's gonna be a list out, then all the better for us. But you guys can go on Seasonal Connect, and look at the employers there. That's the main reason why I suggest Seasonal Connects. Not to sign, not saying hey you cannot sign up, but not to actually be on there and apply via that medium only, but I use it to know, hey, this employer will be recruiting for winter because they've already posted that, hey, they're a winter employer and blah blah blah. So that's my main reason for being on Seasonal Connect, to be honest. That's just me. Only have H2A jobs available. All right. So the thing is, the jobs, they expire after a certain time frame. So after 3 months of being posted, they expire off um that website. So, but normally, I think you can view the inactive jobs. So you would go to advanced search and you would select inactive, and then you would see the inactive jobs. But those would be for summer. Winter jobs will not be posted on that. So they won't post the winter jobs on that until the employers start their process with filing petitions for winter, right? Can you give a rough estimate of the amount of persons you know that got through? My group that I had, I know more than 50 got through. And there are persons who've gotten through, but they haven't stated. There are still some persons waiting to leave as well. I know persons personally who are waiting to leave. There's a lot of persons who reached out to me also on Instagram stating, hey, I've gotten through. They have been following up with the process with me, their process. And they say, hey, I'm leaving this day, whatever. There are also persons who reached out to me via Facebook stating that they're leaving, based on the community and the amount of persons who were watching the videos and stuff and applying and all that. So yes, persons have been reaching out to me stating that they have gotten through. A lot of persons have gotten through. A lot of persons. And the feeling is sure real to know that we started in back ending of November. That's when I started the channel, the posting the videos and stuff. To know that we started from there, and we're actually where persons are just leaving rapidly, and a lot has been happening. It's definitely a sure real feeling. And you'll see those persons come out and talk about their journey and all of that. It's just they have to get time now to adjust, to settle into work, as well as it's kicking in the summer season. So the businesses here are definitely busy, so they'll hardly have time. But yeah, a lot of persons have gotten through. So do you have to be vaccinated just the same, or it's different now since the change? I don't have any information as it relates to that, but I'd say, I mean, hey, just do it if you're worried about just follow the news, I guess. Just follow the news. Reach out to maybe a health center and ask if it's still required. And just do it if you're worried about if it will be mandatory. I'd say just do it. Do you know how we can go about applying for H2A? H2A, I'm not sure. That's the agricultural jobs. But seasonal jobs, the Department of Labor website posts H2A jobs. So if you want to go and apply for the agricultural jobs, by all means do so. You might never know, because they have the same information that the H2B jobs have there. They have the positions, the salary, email address, telephone number of some employers you can, the employers who post the job order. So reach out to them, and you might never know what you can get through it. So I'd say try it. You can try it, you might never know. Should we wait until June to start applying, or we can start now? Applying now. What? All right. So applying now, it would mean most employers will tell you to reach out back in June. What I will say is kind of search, kind of go on a hunt to find out, hey, you know that this employer is doing winter and this is one is doing summer. That I'd say that's your best bet right now to ensure, after the resume and everything, ensure that you kind of read so go on Seasonal Connect, write down all of the employers who will be hiring for winter, and just browse through Google um based on previous randomization lists, because there was one for winter in 2021. Go on Google, find that, and browse through, and you can make an Excel sheet to say, hey, these employers are normally winter employers, so you have those in mind. I'd say that's the best thing to do right at this moment, because then if you reach out to some, a lot will be telling you that, hey, they haven't started recruitment as yet, but that doesn't mean you can't still apply. So um search the sites and all of that to see what you can find. And if you see a job posting um recently about winter coming up, then apply to it by all means. It doesn't hurt applying now, but yeah, you can gather all the employers that you think will be doing winter and just have them, you can apply to them, yes. This audit, I have denied a visa from 2016. Would that cause a problem? The most they'll do is the embassy will require you to come in for an in-person interview. So you won't qualify for the interview waiver. That's what persons get, where they just send their passports in and they don't have to go in for an interview. So it's not like you will be required to go in, because not everyone. It's just a case by case basis at the embassy. So you can still apply, it won't affect you. It's only that normally I recommend persons with denial to find an independent employer. And a lot of persons who had denial, who have who are in the States now, first timers, I'm telling you, who had denials, they did their interview, most of them found independent employers, most if not all. So when you find an independent employer, what I mean by independent employer is an employer who does not necessarily work with an agency and will allow you the option of completing your visa process on your own. That way you have all the access and you can book your interview date, because you can change date up to 5 times, and sometimes the interview dates are far out, and normally it depends on certain times in the nights and stuff, or the early mornings the dates open up, and that's how you can go in and book an earlier date so you can push up your interview time. So that's the only thing, that's the only downside, as what Janice would call them, the VVIPs, the persons with denials. That's the only downside. You will get a date, you can get a date, it's just that the date, because for summer it starts April, but persons got date for June and even July. But still checking, earlier dates do pop up. I was booking, when I first booked a date for a guy I was helping, his date was July, and then it pushed up to May, and then it pushed up to May 9th, and he actually recently went for his interview and his visa was approved. So that's just it for me with for persons who, the VVIPs with the denials. If you can find an independent employer, it would be so good for you. I'm in Trinidad. Can I apply as well? So Sandra Lewis, you can go on Google and type in eligible H2B eligible countries and look to see if you see Trinidad. I'm not sure of all the countries, but just look and then you'll know if it applies to you, if you can. If you don't have any experience, Sasha Gay, we have a couple months until winter starts. I mean, if you do have the time and stuff, you can. All right. So, as it relates to experience, you don't have to have experience to get through. But experience, it actually gives you an advantage most of the times because an employer would rather take someone with experience than without. Nevertheless, my first time trying, I didn't have experience. So what you can do is you try to sell yourself with your resume, and when you do get an interview, that's where you also put out your best. The thing is, say you work in a call center and you're working for Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, or you book flights, or sorry, not even flights, but you work with a company that it's basically receptionist or front desk you're doing. You on your resume, don't put the call center name, but put the account or the company you actually work with, so that they can, when they pick up on that the company, or when they pick up on the type of experience, they would see that, hey, it's actually a front desk experience, if you get what I'm saying. So that's how you try to you'll try to sell yourself using your resume. So even though your experience might not be 100% related to the type of the job position, it can still be beneficial, right? So if you have customer service experience and they're looking for um like a cashier, you can use that customer service experience to sell yourself. And also, guys, sometimes even if you just did a course or you have a certificate, put it in the experience part of your resume. I would do that. I do that for resumes that I've created for persons. So they have bartending certificate. And in the experience section, I put bartending, and then under that I put certificate in bartending. And you can also attach your certificates or to your emails when sending it as well, right? So that's how you sell yourself, especially knowing that you don't have the experience, the exact experience that they're looking for. But you sell, if I have customer service experience and I'm applying for even a serving job, if I get to that employer, like get them on the phone, or I send an email, but my resume might not be attractive enough to them. But say they do respond to me and say, hey, they wanna, set up an interview. That interview, I have to sell myself, because knowing that I don't possess the experience they're looking for, I can actually find a way to hold on to this employer by the way how I present myself and the way how I present the experience I actually do have. So say I have customer service experience. In every type of job position, customer service experience is at the forefront, right? So with that, you can sell yourself to that employer to say, hey, and also it's important to let them know you are very trainable. Let them know, hey, I know persons with the direct experience, but I actually have customer service experience where I've dealt with customers on a face-to-face basis. So you sell yourself to them, letting them know, hey, you can actually do this. Because if you do get an interview, you have to pass the interview. You just have to pass the interview, because getting an interview with an employer, you have come a long way. It's far beyond looking at your resume, because even persons with experience, they go into an interview and they don't pass the interview. So I'm telling you, it's not that you cannot get through without experience. Experience gives you an advantage, but without experience, you still can get through and you still can have an advantage, especially in your interview, right? That's where you prove yourself to the employer. Talk to them, let them know that, hey, you need this. I'm not saying to be desperate, right? But they're looking workers, right? You have to let them know why they should hire you. Why should we hire you, especially when you don't have experience? So that's where you would sell yourself, and that's where you'll prove to them that they should hire you. How long employers will wait if you got a visa denial for you to do the interview at the embassy? Employers will wait on you, You know what is the problem? The agencies, if an employer work with an agency, they are not willing to wait on you, right? So you can explain your situation to an employer. You can let them know that, hey, this is what's happening with the embassy, and but earlier dates normally pop up. And if I can do this process, if you allow me the option to do this process on my own, well, I can definitely book an earlier date and get going for my interview. So they will wait. An employer, they're reasonable. They're very reasonable. A lot of persons have employers who were willing to wait. The guy I was helping, as I mentioned before, his employer waited on him along with a couple of the other persons, and they're just waiting on flight details and stuff now. But employers will wait on you. Um, if a person went up for housekeeping for the first time, can they try and get an extension for several position? Yes. Um, yes, you can. You don't. It doesn't have to be the field in which you came up. I'm saying that right. It doesn't have to be the same position that you came up as the first time. You can extend in different areas. It just depends on what your prior experience is like, and the employers are definitely lenient, and they're reasonable, especially since a lot of them need the in-country workers. So yes, you can apply for a different position. If I get accepted for a dishwasher, can I transfer and apply for another position? Why would you need to transfer? I'd advise you to work out that contract that you came up as, and then if you maybe want to extend, after your contract has ended and you want to extend, then you extend in a different position. Okay? Do you know any independent employer? I won't know any independent employer off the top of my head. I cannot know that. I cannot just know that, right? You'll just it's by emailing and reaching out to these employers. That's where the question would come up. Say, hey, especially if they're new employers, if it's their first time doing H2B, then a lot of the times 90% of them are independent. No, I'm not doing any resumes. When in the process, you inform your employer that you got denied a visa previously. They would normally ask you. I wouldn't just jump up and tell them. But they'll normally ask you. If you had a previous visa denial, some of them will ask you, some of them won't. So you don't really just jump up and tell them that. If it's a case where they work with an agency though, and it will come up because the agency will advise them. Yeah. But I wouldn't just jump up and tell them. Let them know you're a quick learner and easy to adapt to your surroundings. Yeah, you want to let them know that you and if there's a instance where you were hired, say you were hired here and you didn't have the experience, you can maybe tie that into it and try to share to say, hey, at my current job as a cashier, I didn't have the cashier experience that they were looking for. Nevertheless, I got through, and the training was pretty simple. I learned really fast, and I caught on to the systems and stuff. Let them know that you're fast paced, you're easy to learn, you are willing to learn, and you're willing to be trained to fit their standard. No, I'm not doing resumes at the moment. What if they don't ask you if you ever gotten a denial? Then I wouldn't tell them. I wouldn't jump up and just tell them. They didn't ask. There's no reason for me to tell them. It's not lying. They just didn't ask. And some of them, it's not really important to them, because you can. It's a denial doesn't stop you from getting through. Do you know anyone who had a previous visa denial and got an interview waiver? Yes, there was a young man in the group. Not that, no, there was someone who was applying for someone, and one of the persons had a denial, and they didn't call them in for an interview. The visa was approved. How many interviews did you get before you get a job? So, Anne Marie, I got only 2 interviews. So, the first interview I did was for a server position. I didn't have the experience, but because of the customer service as well as some cashiering experience and stuff, then the person, well, I had 3 months of the server experience, but it's not really server. I was working in a small restaurant that just opened. Yeah, and it wasn't really because of the experience why I had my interview. And then I did the interview, and I got that offer, and then I had one for the housekeeping. But that wasn't really an interview. The housekeeping one, it was basically the employer just telling me about the job and letting me know that I have gotten the job and what will happen moving forward. If they take truck driver for out of country, um it depends, their H2B, it's a wide variety of jobs they do recruit for. So I know they have jobs for construction laborers. I think they do have jobs for truck drivers, but don't limit yourself to just one position. Apply to all that you can, all that you think you can manage, or if you feel like you can't manage it, just apply still, because who knows. Is it possible for a job to be posted on Seasonal Connect and it's not legit? Uh, I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, anyone can post a job, and at the end of the day, I don't know. Like, I really don't know. I really don't know, but how you is, do your research, Google the company, call them, you know, do your due diligence. Due diligence. If I'm processing through an agency, you think they will definitely ask if you ever got denied? Yes, they will ask, because they know you would have to book a date. So they're gonna ask you. I can guarantee that an agency will ask you. Yeah, they will ask you. They're always asking. Even if an employer sends your name to them, when an employer sends your name to an agency that they work with, they'll be like, we cannot process you, even though you didn't get the job through the agency, you got it on your own, but they work with an agency, so they send your name so the agency can process you. They'll be like, oh, we cannot move forward with you because you have a denial. What I would suggest, reach out to that employer and let them know that, hey, the agency is here, they're not willing to process us because we have a denial, and they're afraid, or they don't want the hassle of booking a date or searching for early dates. However, if the employer sends you that petition, you can do the visa process on your own and you can book your dates. So let them know, hey, I can do the process on my own. I don't necessarily have to do it with the agency. I can complete my visa application. I can submit the documents to the document center at my local consulate or embassy, and I can when I can book an earlier date as they pop up. So you can let them know, hey, because the agency is dealing with a lot of persons, they might not want to take on the hassle of searching for earlier dates for me. But nevertheless, I can go ahead and search for earlier dates myself. So don't give up when they say, oh, when the agency say, oh, we cannot move forward even though the employer sends down your name because you have a denial and the employer doesn't, it's not going to move forward. Sometimes they're lying, right? Because some of the employers don't understand like everything, so sometimes they won't know. Because the employers, some of them, most of them feel as though we all have to go in for an interview, right? So if your name is sent down to an agency and you have a denial, then and they say, hey, we cannot move forward, reach out to that employer. Every time an agency call you and say, hey, so and so, send down your name, verify the name of the employer so you can write that down and verify the position. So you can go back in your email or whatever and you can reach out to them just in case. Because sometimes these agencies, they will either give your spot away or something. So you got to ensure you and your employer are communicating, right? Communication goes a long way. So what it is your first time? What? So what it is your first time? Are you asking me a question, Demario? So what it is your first time? It is my second time. Last year was my first time. So we're at 46 minutes. I'm gonna go till 50 minutes. So I have 3 to 4 minutes to answer a couple more questions. And then that's it from me. Anything else that you guys would like to know? Ensure that you like the live as well, guys. So we're hoping and we're praying that there will be a winter list of employers, the randomization list. We're really hoping for that. There wasn't one last year in 2022, but we're really hoping there will be one for this winter, right? So continue to pray. My job is going great. It's okay. I mean, work. It's, work. No one likes to work. Well, I like to work, but you know how work is. Work is just work. Work. But it's good. Thank you for asking. How much money should we have in hand? First and foremost, maybe I'd say, most employers let you pay a visa fee up front, and then when you get to the States, they reimburse you. So at least have your visa fee and some pocket money that you will need when you get to the States to get groceries and to supply yourself for 2 weeks, until 2 to 3 weeks until you would get your first salary. So even though some employers, it just depends, because you can have an employer that will buy you groceries and then take it out of your paycheck in different increments. You have employers that will reimburse you as you get to the States, so you can use that money to buy groceries and stuff. So it all depends on the employers you get. The randomization list, as it drops, it's normally on Google. So I think it's on which website? If it's not USCIS's website, it's DHS. No. DOL, Department of Labor or something. But it's normally available on Google. You could just type it in. And yeah. Where can I find the randomization list? Google. Did you use BCC to send email? Yeah, that it helps. Just ensure that you're doing right. You're selecting BCC and not CC. BCC, it's definitely good, especially if you have a list of all the employer emails that you want to send. Um, send the same resume to or something. So the BCC option actually helps. Pros or cons where I am now. I mean, not really. For persons that get through for H2B, for example, housekeeping, can we seek a second job? Guys, if you are seeking a second job, what do you think about a second job based on information we've discussed previously? It's not me hungry, really. It's not recommended, even though some employers are okay with it, but don't go pushing it up in their faces, asking them, hey, can I, you know? I really don't know what I'm doing. There's an Excel recruiters list. The Excel list is what we sort and have it available for you guys. Like we sort them to say from to put them in sort them based on the category they fall in, so we know, hey, definitely these ones will get to higher outer country, these ones won't. So yeah. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining. You can, I mean, it's a lot of messages and it's so hard for me to respond to everyone, but I do try. But if you have a question and I'm not getting to you quickly enough, you can, I mean, we did a lot of videos, we did a lot of lives, we do a lot, I did a lot of Q&A lives and stuff. So I can guarantee you that 98% of the questions you're asking can be found in a video or something. But thank you guys so much for joining. I do hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. And more updates and information will follow as we go along. So just ensure that you are not just sitting and waiting. Ensure that you actually are, that you guys are actually, doing further research on your own, because I get to realize that there's no one way to do something, and if we are interested in knowing, we can actually find the information, right? So have a great evening and stay blessed.